They say when you open a door you were never meant to open, it is not just air that comes through. Sometimes what walks through will sit with you, eat with you, sleep beside you, and won't leave until your mind, your peace, and even your bloodline begins to rot. This is what happened to Obinna. If you are just joining us, you really need to pause and listen to part one of this story with title Don't Pity Every Beggar You See. He did, and it opened a grave. But if you are ready for what happened next, hold your breath and let's dive deeper into the grave that refused to close. Obinna left Lagos the morning after the burial. No packing, no goodbye to friends. He just grabbed a small bag and left. His mind was heavy, his heart even heavier. He needed space, he needed distance, and he needed home. So he boarded a rickety bus, dusty, overcrowded, and made his way to Umuoma, his village in Anambra State. At the entrance of his family compound, Pa Udo stood waiting. His uncle, the man who raised him like a second father. Obinna, my son, Lagos has finished you. Oh." Pa Udo laughed, pulling him into a tight embrace. Come inside. Come and eat real food, not all this indomie and soft bread you city people eat. Obinna smiled weakly. The smell of wet earth, burning firewood, the distant sound of chickens and goats running across the compound. It felt like safety. It felt like healing. But the universe had other plans. That night, Pa Udo cooked Obinna's favorite meal, yam porridge, thick, rich, loaded with scent leaf, smoked fish, and palm oil. But the moment Obinna lifted the first spoon, something shifted. The smell, the taste, it wasn't food, it was soil. Fresh, wet, grape soil. Obinna dropped the spoon. His stomach churned. Enna, what's wrong? You don't like my cooking again? Pa Udo teased. Obinna forced a smile. I'm just tired, uncle. But inside he was screaming. The next morning, even drinking water tasted off. Every bite, every sip smelled like the earth he dug in Lagos. By the third day, Pa Udo started vomiting. At first, light nausea, then full body cramps, then black vomit, thick, greasy like engine oil. Neighbors began to whisper, maybe it's food poisoning, one said, or witchcraft, another muttered. They called the village pastor. The man arrived, fiery, armed with olive oil, anointing water, and 3 days fasting behind him. For 2 hours he prayed, he cast, he bound, he shouted. But right in the middle of deliverance, something invisible slapped him across the face. Hard. The man collapsed. When he woke up, he grabbed his Bible, his sandals, and fled. From that night on, nobody entered Pa Udo's house again. Dogs began barking every midnight, as though something unseen circled the compound. And in Obinna's dreams, the old woman appeared, her voice like the grinding of dry stones, whispering, feed me, feed me. You carried me, I followed you. Obinna couldn't take it anymore. He had to go back to Lagos. Maybe, if he dug up the old woman again, reburied her properly, or did something, anything, this would stop. So, he boarded another bus with nothing but fear in his chest. He arrived at the abandoned field behind the warehouse with shaking hands, sweat pouring, and with curious neighbors watching. He dug and dug and dug until finally he reached the wooden coffin. His heart pounded, his vision blurred. He opened it, empty, cold. Terror filled him. Where is she? He whispered. The soil beneath untouched. No sign of digging, no disturbance. It was like she was never there. An old man from the crowd, grey beard, skin like curled leather, stepped forward. You buried nothing, the man said flatly. Obinna turned. What do you mean? This land has been dead for years. Nothing grows here. Nothing stays buried here. Things enter, but they don't stay. That night, back in Umuoma, Pa Udo screamed in his sleep. Neighbors swore. They saw an old woman sitting at the edge of his bed, floating, her feet missing, her eyes empty socket. Let me pause here. If you are still watching, let me ask you, have you ever done something you thought was small? Just a little act of kindness, only for it to turn into a nightmare? Have you ever helped someone and afterwards your life suddenly spiraled out of control? If yes, tell me in the comments. I want to hear your story. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button now because this story is about to get even darker. Let's continue and back to the story. Desperate, terrified, Obinna ran to the village shrine, fell on his knees, begged for help. The chief priest, an elderly man with kola-nut stained teeth, listened in silence. Then finally he spoke. You brought a spirit carrier into this village. Obinna froze. A what? A woman cursed to roam, searching for a body, a home, a life. When you buried her without rites, you opened her door, you invited her, and now she has sat down in your house. Obinna began to sob. What can I do? There is only one way, the priest said. You must perform a water separation burial. The earth has rejected her. Only water can take her now. That night, Obinna and Pa Udo's relatives gathered. The priest gave strict instructions. Take the woman's last clothes, her plate, her last eaten food, ashes from the soil Obinna dug, and drops of oil from Pa Udo's vomit. They must all be carried to the village river at midnight. And there with prayers, chants, and a small blood sacrifice, they must release her. But there was one more thing. Obinna himself must enter the water first to invite her spirit and let her leave him. As the clock struck midnight, they walked, torchlight in their hands, barefoot, down to the river bank. The water, dark, still, unmoving. Obinna stepped in, his whole body shaking, his teeth chattering. He poured the soil and ashes into the water. The surface began to bubble, like boiling oil. The river turned dark. Then something unseen grabbed Obinna's ankles. He screamed. Men rushed in, dragged him out. For 3 days, Obinna drifted between life and death, hallucinating, muttering the old woman's name, calling for help, and sometimes laughing like a madman, until finally he woke, weak but breathing. Weeks passed. Pa Udo slowly recovered. The vomiting stopped. The stench lifted. Neighbors returned. But Obinna was never the same again. He stopped giving hangouts to strangers, stopped picking beggars off the street. Some nights, he wake up screaming, seeing faces that weren't there. One day, he packed his bags and left the village. Nobody knows where he went. But till today, old women in Umuoma say, if you see Obinna in the city, and you stretch your hand for help, be ready for him to look at you twice, not with pity, but with fear. What are the lessons woven into the part 2 of this story? Lesson number 1: kindness is good, but spiritual discernment is better. Lesson number 2: not every beggar is ordinary. Some carry more than hunger. Lesson number 3: always pray first before you stretch out your hand, because some hands, once touched, may follow you home. Before you pity, before you give, before you open your door, or your wallet, or your heart, pray first. If this story held you, if it made your heart race, if it made you pause, let me know in the comments and tell me, have you ever helped someone and your life changed in ways you didn't expect? If you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button now, because trust me, the next whisper will be even deeper. This is Whispers of Uche, where every whisper is a window to the unseen. Until the next whisper, stay awake and stay listening.